Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you who are watching us here on various platforms around social media. We also want to say thank you to those of you who are checking us out via live audio on WIGO AM 1570. It's the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570 to get it right. And we appreciate all those of you who've tuned in to watch us here on this morning. Well, it is another Saturday, another weekend of sports that has popped in. And we are excited, like I say again, to be here with you in the mix to let you know what's going on in the world of sports. We have NBA playoffs that are making their way across the landscape. We also have here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves are doing their thing, one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. And then, of course, the sports world, especially the football sports world, continue to buzz with talk about the shocking draft picks and selections by the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to talk about that. And good news, if you are feeling like hey, I want to do my own sportscast. I'm that dude. Well, good news. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, for those of you who are watching, not listening, first, we're going to talk to those folks first, and then we're going to also put an invitation for those people who are listening on WIGO. First, let's do this. For those of you who want to jump in on the show and here, let your comments be made plain. Here we go. I'm posting it right now. There's a link that we're going to post, and you will be able to actually put this link into your browser or into your phone, and voila, you will be able to jump in on the Real Talk Sports Show and let your opinion be known and heard. Or, in fact, you can call 404-361-1571. And if we don't actually get you your comments on the air live, we will actually have our producer let us know that you are on the phone and what you are thinking about here on this Saturday sports weekend update. Big shout out to our title sponsor, Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. They're located at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in the city of Motto, Georgia. And remember, I have more good news for you. If in fact you are looking for a car for yourself, guess what? You can call me because I am a commercial account manager there at Allen Vigil Ford. You call me directly at work, 678-364-3979. And we got great deals on new Fords, great deals on new Lincolns, but also we have used cars of every make and model. So please give me a call, 678-364-3979. Great deals going on. One of them I'll mention right here on the air, the F-150, the number one selling vehicle in the country, now again has rebates and special financing. Special financing as low as 1.9%, rebates as high as $2,500. That's right. So, hey, if you've been in the market for a vehicle, hit me up. You also have some other vehicles like the Ford Edge. There's a APR of 0. Now, of course, you have to have your credit got to be right to get some of those low APRs. But no worries. Even if it's not right, even if it's like me where your credit's kind of lumpy and bumpy, no problem. Hit me up. We have a special finance manager by the name of Shed Harris that does a wonderful job of getting people done regardless of their credit situation. So give me a call. All right, so let's first start with the NBA. I got maybe I should play a little theme music. I can get some theme music for that. Anyway, look at the NBA last night. We had a couple of teams that have exited the premises. Number one, let's look at out west first. The Clippers gone. They're heading back home now after losing to the Mavericks 114 to 101. Of course, you expected that. No Kawhi Leonard, who is a beast in postseason. He did not play, which meant that the Mavericks were able to do their thing, especially the now red hot and devastating combo of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. The two guys combined for 58 points. Doncic 28 points, 7 rebounds, and a stunning 13 assists at the point forward / guard position. And Kyrie Irving doing what he does best, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, dazzling array of scoring buckets, especially when it was needed for the Mavericks. As far as the Clippers, when you look at this Clippers lineup, you say to yourself, man, it's just, I guess like the word my mom used to tell me all the time, shame we got to get old. Clippers loaded with a lot of familiar names, guys that maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago would have made this a laugh over the Mavericks, but their careers now are at the tail end. I'm talking about James Harden. Played a good game, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists, but certainly not the dominant scorer that he was when he was had times we led the league in scoring. The biggest one is Russell Westbrook. 9 minutes played, 6 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. This is a guy, keep in mind, that broke Oscar Robertson's record for most triple doubles in a season. He was one of the most dominant players, all around players in the league, but he is now reduced to basically being a backup player. Russell Westbrook with only 6 points. Paul George, a guy that they think might be leaving the Clippers, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. And that really was a story for the Clippers as they go down to the Mavericks, 114-101, and are ousted 4-2. Let's also look into the West Coast again. And as you know, the other night, the Lakers got themselves knocked out of the box by the defending champion, Denver Nuggets. Now the Nuggets, I say to the Lakers' credit, they did battle them very well, even though they went down 4-1. They had a couple of games that certainly could have been won and could have at least extended the series to 6 or 7 games, but they are ousted as well. And now I think could be one of the most entertaining series in the NBA playoffs. Timberwolves taking on the Nuggets in the number 2 and number 3 slot. Timberwolves, man, they look like they're, like I said again, they're going to be a very, very tough out. Anthony Edwards is looking now like that dude. He is playing at a level that I don't say we haven't seen, because sometimes we have a very short memory in sports. But right now, he is one of the dominant players in the NBA. His hops are out through the moon, but he can hurt you from anywhere on the court. So he is going to give Denver their hands full. But let's face it, when you have the Joker, the defending NBA MVP, and you have Jamal Murray and a team that has been battle tested. Remember now, before the Nuggets won this championship last year, they went to the playoffs multiple times, lost some very, very tough series, but this team looked very, very grizzled. Again, staring down the Lakers in 2 big games, where it came right down to one of them, a Jamal Murray buzzer beater, which was the series changer, because that was game 2 in Denver. And the Lakers trying to sneak out of there with a win that would have really, I think, changed the dynamic of that series. But Jamal Murray showing that he is one of the better clutch players in NBA postseason, hits the buzzer beater to win game 2. And pretty much that was the series. They did play very well. I'm talking about the Lakers in game 4. But like I said, again, the defending champions look like they are ready to take on any challenge, but they're going to have their work cut out for them against the Timberwolves led by Anthony Edwards and their stout defense as well. They lead the league in defense. So it should be very, very interesting. Let's cut back to the East Coast where we be at. I shouldn't say the East Coast. We're over here in the East. And it was the Orlando Magic of all teams. This is a team that the Hawks beat during the season, I think a couple of times. The Orlando Magic knock off the Cavaliers 103-96 to tie that series and now send it into a 1-game playoff. Great series back and forth, Cavaliers and Magic. Like I said, these are 2 teams that the Hawks beat during the regular season. You kind of think to yourself why the Hawks are not there, but that's a whole nother story in and of itself. Meanwhile, the Bucks, without Giannis, as you expected. See ya. The highest scoring team in the league, the Pacers, blow them out 120 to 96. And so that series is over. Indiana winning at 4-2. And last but not least, in the East, a team that many people root for here in the Metro Atlanta area, the New York Knickerbockers have advanced, knocking off the 76ers 118 to 115, taking 2 of the last 3 games played in Philly. Philly fans feeling some kind of way as the Knicks go in and take 2 of the last 3, like I said, played in the city of brotherly love. Very controversial as far as the refereeing calls. Many Sixer fans and Sixer players think that those calls were certainly leaning heavily towards the New York Knickerbockers, and many people think that series was tainted a bit by that. But nevertheless, Jalen Brunson, ever since the situation where the Hawks came in and kind of embarrassed the Knicks in New York, ever since then, the Knickerbockers have been a team on a mission. Now, I'll tell you something that's very interesting also about the Knicks. They're doing all this. Like I said, they have Brunson. They have DiVincenzo. Brunson was an absolute beast. He did what you're supposed to do when you are a clutch player and the key player on your team. Brunson said, I've had enough of this. 41 points, going along with 12 assists and 3 rebounds. Now, I know you guys are going to kind of feel some kind of way, but that's like the way Trae Young was balling out a couple of years ago. 41 points, 12 assists. You can't ask for anything better out of your point guard. In the words of the great Walter Clyde Frazier, dishing and swishing. So Jalen Brunson becoming now the new it guy, along with Anthony Edwards out in Minnesota Timberwolves in terms of rising stars in the NBA. Josh Hart, 16 points, 14 rebounds, very critical down in the paint. And like I mentioned, Dante DiVincenzo, 23 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds as the Knicks get the Sixers out of there 118 to 115, winning in 6 games. Now, I'm going to give a big shout out to the Sixers. Joel Embiid. Embiid did everything he could, 40 minutes, 39 points, 13 rebounds, looking like the former MVP that he is, but it was not enough as they could not hold on. Tyrese Maxey, after scoring 42 points a couple of nights ago to keep the Sixers in the series, held to 17 points. I say held to 17 points. 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Kelly Oubre, 17 points, and Buddy Hield, 20 points and 21 minutes. Most of them big 3-point bombs, but again, wasn't enough. Knickerbockers advanced 118 to 115 over the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Please keep it locked right here for more of the Saturday Sports Update. We'll be right back.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Brian, I just want to say congratulations, man. Thanks for coming down from Tennessee to get your new truck from us.
Thank you.
God bless and have a safe trip. Congratulations, Amici, on your new F-250 that you got from us. How was your experience here at Allen Vigil Ford?
Thank you so much, Jonathan, man. I appreciate everything you did for me, man. This is awesome right here. And
There it is, right from the horse's mouth, guys. Again, if you have need of a car, check us out right at Allen Vigil Ford in Lincoln. Remember, you can call me directly, 678-364-3979. I'll be more than happy to assist you in anything that you need in terms of a new or pre-owned car for yourself or for your business. If you have a business, a lot of people say, hey, man, how can I, get financed in my business name? What's a good option for me, leasing or financing? I can help you with all of that. So again, give me a call, 678-364-3979 at Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln. And matter of fact, if you want to find out more about them online, you can shop 24/7 at allenvigilford.net or allenvigillincoln.com. All right, so in our last half of this broadcast, we're going to talk about a team that has set the social media and the sports world on fire. And I'm talking about the Atlanta Falcons. You know, one of the things that Arthur Blank had wanted when he took over this team is he said that he wanted the Falcons to be relevant every year. Well, they're certainly relevant this year before the season even starts. And for those of you who are not familiar, the reason why is because the Falcons shook up the world with their draft pick at the first round, number 8. What most people had figured out with the Falcons, not figured out, with most experts, people that follow sports, sports fans, all knew this. The Falcons had a team that offensively looked like it was good enough to be a playoff team in terms of most, I'll put the word most, of their key players. I'm talking about from the running back position, they had 2 rookies who in back-to-back years rushed for 1,000 yards, Tyler Algiers, and then Bijan Robinson did it again last year. They have a gentleman that they drafted a couple of years ago, Kyle Pitts, who in his rookie season before injuries went to the Pro Bowl. Okay. They have a perennial Pro Bowl offensive lineman in Chris Lindstrom. Their running attack have been in the top 5 in the NFL for 3 consecutive years. So you said, wow, this is a playoff team, doesn't it? Their defense was ranked in the top 15 for the first time in eons last year. You're thinking, hey, whoa, what do we got here? We have, in fact, a playoff team. But no. Why? Because of one glaring problem. And that was the quarterback position, which is, unfortunately for the Falcons in the last couple of years, the most important position in the world of football. So the Falcons said, enough of this, darn it. They went out and got a guy who most people felt was the best free agent candidate available in Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins has prodigious stats in the regular season. This guy has been one of the best passers in the NFL, and he's been voted to the Pro Bowl not once, not twice, but 4 times in his 11-year career. However, Kirk Cousins is now age 36 and coming off a catastrophic torn ACL. Excuse me, not torn ACL. Lord have mercy. Ligaments in his ankles. Okay, so people had some reservations, so to speak, about Kirk because they're thinking, okay, can this guy come back and do it? Because at this age, also being a quarterback he's not the most mobile of quarterbacks. So, but people were thinking, which I thought, I said to myself, even Kirk Cousins at 80% would be a gentleman to be able to get the Falcons to the postseason, because if we just had average play, I almost got in my preacher voice. If we just had average, if we had a little bit of help, the Falcons would have been a playoff team in all 3 of Arthur Smith's years. I should say the last 2 years for sure, they would have been in the playoffs. If they just had mediocre, I shouldn't say, if they had average quarterback play, they would have done that. So everybody's excited at the beginning saying, we got Kirk Cousins, and then everyone thinking, well, we now have room to be flexible in the draft because our quarterback position is done, and we're going to get ourselves an edge rusher. We're going to get ourselves a cornerback, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll on a deep run into the playoffs. But then suddenly, it was announced with the first pick, the Falcons draft Michael Penix from Washington. You hear that sound? That's what you were hearing around Atlanta. Shock and awe. People handle their mouth like this. What? They couldn't believe that the Falcons, with having a top 10 pick, having at least 3 highly touted edge rushers, Jared Verse out of Florida State, Latu from UCLA, and everybody's consensus pick from out of Alabama. And my mind is just drawing a blank. I saw his name flash before me. Quack, 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 quack. But anyway, everybody was thinking that this was going to be it. The Falcons were going to finally get their edge rusher after years and years and years of trying. But no, the Falcons decide to bypass all 3 of those gentlemen and pick Michael Penix. And everybody in the sports world said, what the what? As a matter of fact, they have a grade. Now here's the thing, guys. We understand it's almost impossible to grade, um, to do a grade after not seeing any of these players play anything on the field, because we've had, teams on many, many occasions draft guys in the first round and not so much, as far as they didn't turn out as well as everything was going, as well as they thought. And then we've had other guys that come out of nowhere. Of course, the most famous, Tom Brady, drafted in the sixth round, number 199, turned out to be arguably the greatest quarterback ever to play in the NFL, and had one of the longest careers of any NFL quarterback. Matter of fact, any player in NFL history. But right now, after ranking all 32 teams, and this comes, believe it or not, from USA Today Sports, from the Falcon Wire, which is these guys basically are assigned to cover the Falcons. Out of 32 teams, the Falcons were ranked number 32. Yeah, everybody was just like, thumbs down, because not only did they not address an edge rusher in that first round, but really, outside of Michael Penix, even the other picks seem to be guys that they overreached for, overpaid for, and again, let by other players that could have been more impactful. The other shocker was the Falcons trading back up into the second round to get a Rororo, I know I'm not pronouncing that right, out of Clemson, a defensive tackle, not an edge rusher, a defensive tackle. Now, some people say he can play defensive end a little bit, very stout against the run, but not necessarily known for his pass rushing capabilities. So you're kind of wondering here, what were the Falcons thinking? That's what everybody was saying. I mean, people just scratching their head. They were saying, hey, and here's the thing. We welcome Michael Penix here to Atlanta, but what many people were thinking was Michael Penix was going to be available later, or they would make some type of maneuver in the draft to make sure that they had another high pick to pick up a bona fide edge rusher, but they did not. And the other thing too is, my people are saying, okay, you just spent basically $180 million on a quarterback. You just drafted another quarterback that basically, I'm not going to say could do the same thing because he's a rookie. And, everybody can't be Oliver Luck or CJ Stroud, come out of the box and, lead their team to playoffs. That's very, very rare. But what many people are thinking is, if you're going to have a quarterback in as a placeholder while you're waiting for the guy who's supposed to be Michael Penix, your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, why on earth would you spend $180 million to bring another guy in here? That was my thought at first. I was feeling some kind of way. I really was. I turned it off the draft, couldn't watch anymore. I was like, oh, come on, man. Everybody was mocking Atlanta, saying this is what Falcons do. But now I've had a little time to think about it, this is what I really have to say about that whole situation. Number one, it kind of is a good thing that the people leading your team have a high degree of confidence, even to some degree, a bit of a cockiness in their belief that, hey, we're not going to be drafting in the top 10 for a while. Okay, so that's one thing got to give them kudos for, even though, it's got to have intestinal fortitude to do that. That's kind of what you want. You want guys leading your team, leading your organization that are not afraid. So we'll give them a little check or kudos for that. Michael Penix as a player is a guy that I had thought, to me, from watching him, was a guy that was a top 4, top 5 quarterback. No doubt about it. The guy can sling it. I mean, he's got a rifle arm. He's accurate. He was amongst the the NCAA leaders in passing. Matter of fact, I'll let you guys just listen to these stats for just a second here. He has been one of the best in the NCAA. Last year, the last 2 years, this guy has thrown for almost 10,000 yards. And people can say what they want about playing the SEC. He played in the Pac-12. He's played some good caliber competition. And oh, by the way, led his team to the national championship game last year. This guy's not Scribini. In his last 2 years, he has been 65+% completion ratio, which is what you want. Because in the NFL, you can't. Even running quarterbacks will struggle to take their teams far if they can't get to at least that mid 60. That's kind of de rigueur now in the NFL. And he was that. 65% of his throws were completed, 4,600 yards in his junior year, the year before, and last year, a staggering 4,900 yards in the air, 36 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions. The year before, 31 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. And both times, this guy was a consensus All-American. And, oh, by the way, his junior year was in the top 10 of the Heisman voting at number 8, and last year narrowly lost out to the Commanders' number 2 pick, being number 2 overall in the Heisman. So the guy's definitely a good player. I just thought in my mind, hey, I don't know if you want to necessarily use 8 when you have a lot of other things going on. However, let me just say this also. The picks that the Falcons did pick up, okay, the guys they did pick up later in later rounds. If one or two of those guys can hit, just like we've seen before, we've seen this with other teams. We've also seen it here in Atlanta, where they have been able to pick up a la Grady Jarrett. They picked him up, I think, in the 5th round, and this guy has been an absolute stud, going to the Pro Bowl multiple times. So they could get that. They could, in fact, find a gem. Whether it is or not, I'm not sure. I will say this, too, as well. The other thing I think that rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way, especially Falcons fans, is that as much as the Falcons brass said, oh, we had all this stuff handled and we did this and the strategy, it looked kind of frenetic, But last but not least, I'm going to say this. To me, forget Michael Penix for a second. The two guys that I think have the potential to make this draft turn from a bust to a boom is their next 2 picks after Penix, which is the guy I mentioned, I can't pronounce his name now, Ruke Odororo, and outside linebacker also from Washington, Braylon Trice, who is in fact a legitimate edge rusher. If those 2 guys can actually give you top tier performance, then all of a sudden everybody's going to be saying the Falcons were playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Just saying. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm hoping for a big season for the Falcons here. I will admit I'm kind of a homer. I got season tickets. Matter of fact, as we go through the season, we'll be looking to do some ticket giveaways. So we want to need a sponsor for that. So if you guys want to sponsor our Falcon ticket giveaways, please hit us up here on the Real Talk Sports Show. You can call me 678-410-9833, or you can, in fact, also hit me up with an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. There it is right there on the screen for those of you who are watching. Again, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or hit me up on the cell, 678-410-9833. Well, guys, we got to wrap it up here. Thank you for all those of you tuned in here to us on the radio, on the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570. And for all those of you who are following us here on social media at Real Talk Sports 7, please, whether you're listening or watching, go to our YouTube page right now. Subscribe. Real Talk Sports 7. That's how we are at every social media platform. Follow us everywhere, but most of all, subscribe on YouTube so we can get to 1,000 subscribers. All right, before I go, guys, you may not know I'm a real live minister. That's right. Everybody calls me the Rev because I am. And so before I leave this broadcast, I want to get about your soul. You say, dude, what you doing? It's important. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves Jesus. Nobody loves you like Jesus does. Nobody, absolutely nobody. And that's the key. Belief in him and how you can get to heaven and avoid that nasty place called hell. All right, guys, until next time we get back together again, please keep it locked on WIGO 1570. Remember, follow us anywhere on social media and on YouTube at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. Until next time, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.